everyone. This is Munish Chawla. I'm one of the co-founders of Peaceful Planet Foundation. I just want to take a minute here to thank everyone, all the presenters, for doing such great presentations and spending time with us to educate the community and spread peace, health, and wellness. I'm going to talk about, this next session is going to be on meditation. I'm going to talk about the neuroscience of mindfulness meditation. And this will be followed by Jacinta, our Master of Ceremony, and she's going to lead us into a session of mindfulness. So let's jump right in. So one of the things that I often get, I get a lot of questions on is, what is mindfulness? People have heard it, it's actually popular right now. It's the in thing. It's in magazines and social media. But I feel like a lot of people are still not 100% clear what mindfulness meditation is. So I wanted to kind of start off with the definition. So this is sort of, the way I break it up. The first thing we do in mindfulness when we're doing a mindfulness exercise or meditation is we're just paying attention in a particular way to the present moment experience. What is our body experiencing at this time? What are we thinking? We're paying attention to those bodily sensations and thoughts. And when we become aware of our body, when we become aware of our thoughts, that's the time of awareness. So, pausing, paying attention, then becoming aware. And when we are aware, we may notice that there's pain in certain part of the body. Or we may have, an unpleasant thought. And the next part is really important, that whatever the present sensation is, whatever the momentary awareness brings, whether it's an unpleasant thought or unpleasant sensation, that we're accepting and non-judgmental. We're not trying to change reality. We're not wishing for something different, a different experience. We're just in the present moment, just non-judgmental as possible. If we can be in that frame of mind, the hope is that we can have a more skillful response to whatever we're experiencing in the present moment, as opposed to a habitual reaction. Let's say someone, says something unkind to us. Our habitual reaction may be that we say something unkind right back. But if we can be mindful, just see the unpleasant sensations in our body, just notice them, and then say, okay, at this point or at this time, I'm experiencing something unpleasant. I don't have to respond, the same way the other person responded. I have a choice. I can have a more skillful response. And so now that we have a working definition of mindfulness, I want to share some reasons to practice this. There are many reasons, and perhaps the more common reasons are people want to be more focused and they've heard it helps their memory, maybe an attention span. Another reason, a lot of my patients want to at least look into mindfulness meditation, that it reduces our stress. And it definitely does help with that. And it does more than that. It improves our physical and emotional health, our physical and well-being. And the other thing that is really useful is behavior change. So you may have heard, changing habits, changing the way we go about our usual business can be hard. If we've decided after listening to some of the talks that we're going to change our diet, we're going to change our behavior around food, it's challenging, especially when you first get started. But if you can have mindfulness as an agent, as a helper along the way, it can make that behavior change much easier. And finally, the way all the contemplative traditions, whether all the world's religions, all of them have a place for mindfulness meditation. And their ultimate goal there is to lead a more aware, compassionate, and spiritually connected life. So I'm going to kind of get into the neuroscience a little bit. What does it mean that the brain can be changed. So mindfulness meditation is literally something that you can see changes in the brain. They're actual structural and functional changes. And these structural and functional changes in the brain are called neuroplasticity. At one time, it was thought that our brain wiring was pretty much fixed. So we have over 80 billion neurons, some say maybe even up to 100 billion neurons. And the predominant thinking was certainly 40, 50 years ago, that by age 10 or 11, that the wiring, the way the neurons are connected, is pretty much set by age 10 or 11. But now we know from research and really just from personal experience that the brain can change at any age. It's a little bit easier when we're younger, but we can make meaningful changes in our behavior, in our brain, and this ability of the brain to change is called neuroplasticity. So then the question may be, how do we know that the brain actually changes? Is there any research? And there is tons of research which shows that this is possible. Before I actually go to the research on neuroscience, I want to kind of give you guys a little bit of tools, a little bit of language. So when we're looking at these things, you have a better idea. So the way we can tell that there are structural changes to the brain, we can use machines or tools such as MRI. So these are imaging tools which let us look at the inside of our brain. So we can see different parts of the brain. We can see the parietal lobe. We can see the temporal lobe. We can see the brainstem. And functional MRI is just like what it sounds. We can not only see these structures on imaging, we can see which part of the brain is activated. And SPECT imaging is primarily for functional imaging. It just lets us know what part of the brain is activated. And doesn't give as good detail as MRI on the structural part. So when you see studies which show neuroplasticity, they're primarily using one of these three tools. I mean, there's other tools, EEG, but these would be the most common ones. So when you have these tools available, you can make these wonderful and detailed diagrams of the brain. So don't worry, this is not going to be a lecture on neuroanatomy, but I do want you to be familiar with a few structures. So this is a slice of the human brain, and it's cut like this. If you were to slice, from here to the back, it would be called a sagittal section. And if we look at that, so let me orient you. So up here in the front is going to be your frontal lobe, and in the back is going to be your occipital lobe in the back right here. So the areas that we're interested in for this talk is going to be the dorsolateral, or just simply the prefrontal cortex. Another thing you're going to learn about is the insula, which is right here. And the other two structures I want you to be on the lookout for are the amygdala and the hippocampus. So we're going to really kind of keep this talk relatively basic. The ideas that I bring up, will certainly apply, but I don't want you to give the impression that it's that simple. So this is a very complex topic, but we're going to simplify it so we can all kind of understand and learn together. So the prefrontal cortex here, this is our CEO. This is where our executive functions lie. We set goals, we formulate plans on how to accomplish these goals. So that would be the main function, but it also has a function in the regulating our emotions. So it does this by guiding and inhibiting the limbic system. And the amygdala and the hippocampus and the insula are part of the limbic system. And the hippocampus is very important in behavior, in mindfulness meditation, because this is where we learn, or we can see that we have acquired a new skill. It's also where we formulate new memories and store old memories. And that's this green structure right here. Okay, the red oval right here is the amygdala. So this is the alarm bell. This is this structure activates our fight and flight response. It's always looking out for threats. I mean, this is what's needed, especially think back 50,000 years ago. The environment was much more hostile. We needed part of the brain dedicated to just be looking out for threats. But in modern day life, and there's not a tiger around every tree, or there's, less concern of minute-to-minute safety, our amygdala is also important in regulation of anxiety and stress. So you may have heard of the phrase, activating our fight and flight response, and that's definitely needed, something, that nature built with us. But if we keep activating this over and over, it can really lead to anxiety and stress. And the last structure I want to talk about is the insula. This is a triangular structure. And this is important in physiological awareness. When we are aware of our body sensations, if we're itching, if we're cold, if we're hot, and not just awareness, then it has the function that we form sort of a subjective feeling of what that sensation brings. We can have a feeling of peace or sadness or anxiety. So all these structures kind of work together, and insula is central in that. The other thing the insula does, it's helpful in maintaining attention. And more research is showing that it's also important in things like empathy, compassion, and managing negative emotions. So now that everyone has a basic vocabulary on the structures and things that are important, let's look at actual studies. So this is the first studies that I came across, and it literally, the title is just so wonderful, that in as little as 8 weeks, we can see changes in the brain with the wonderful tools that I mentioned earlier. So in this particular study, there were 16 participants, and they underwent training, and then they were asked to practice. And on average, they practiced, almost 30 minutes. And MRI was performed prior to the training and practice, and after the training and practice. And what they noticed on the MRI, that there was increased gray matter in the hippocampus, and that there was decreased gray matter in the amygdala. And in this particular study, they did not see any changes in the insula. So instead of just going through a bunch of studies, I'm going to go to this meta-analysis. So meta-analysis, as most of you may know, what it does is it groups a bunch of different studies, and it sees, what are the common conclusions that the study has. So instead of talking about one study, we have the luxury of looking at multiple studies all together. So this was from the Biomedical Research International Journal. And what they concluded from looking at, I believe, 16 different studies, that during meditation or after mindfulness meditation training, that there were actually structural and functional changes in the brain. These changes occurred in all parts of the brain. And they noticed that there was greater neuronal density, meaning more neurons were activated, more neurons were active, and even there was growth of neurons, especially in the hippocampus. And this happened in the prefrontal cortex, the hippocampus, and the insula. And they also noticed that there was decreased neuronal density in the amygdala. So, that's all, what does that really mean? So let's kind of dive into that. So if there is decreased neuronal density in the amygdala, it means we're not in a heightened state of alarm or fear all the time. It means that there is decreased production of the stress hormones. And you can see if there's, we're not in fight and flight all the time, there's less stress hormones on board, that how the anxiety, the fear, even things like insomnia can decrease. And this, on one of the studies, was done on prison inmates, and they noticed there was decrease in aggression that corresponded to decrease in neuronal density in amygdala. And what happens when there is increased activation of the prefrontal cortex, hippocampus, insula, and other structures in the limbic system? literally, it lifts our mood. We are happier. We are more attentive. We get a greater feeling of well-being, of harmony. And, they've done biochemical testing on these folks. They checked their blood levels, and they had decreased stress-related cortisol production. So, wonderful things happen when we do mindfulness meditation on a regular basis. And so, just to, make it more concrete, there are studies showing decrease in high blood pressure, heart disease, a lot of studies showing decrease in chronic pain, health and psychological conditions such as anxiety, insomnia, phobias of various kind. And not just that, improves our attention, our empathy, just sort of our sense of compassion. And a lot of times people think that, certain people are compassionate, others are not so compassionate. But I really want to underline or stress that these are all skills. Just like you can, get a skill for serving better in tennis, you can cultivate the skill of growing your compassion. And you can do it with mindfulness meditation. So I want to show you just a couple of studies, just a couple of imaging tools, since we talked about them. What do they actually look like? So again, this is the sagittal section of a brain, and this is a functional MRI. So we're seeing the anatomy, the structure of the brain, and we're seeing which parts of the brain are activated. And in this particular study, they compared folks, who were not meditators. They were just being taught, they were novices. And then they had experienced meditators. So this is when the person was meditating, an experienced meditator. You can kind of see their connectivity and how much activity there is. So in this particular slide, we see activation of the insula. And remember, activation of the insula means we get a subjective tone of more harmony, peace, well-being. And this is another study. And in this particular study, they were looking at folks that were not experienced meditators. They were looking at them at baseline when they were not meditating, and they looked at them while they were actively meditating. So one of the things that we are concerned about, so again, this is the front of the brain, these are the sides, and this is the back of the brain. So the prefrontal cortex would be here in the front. And you can see that while the person, is just sort of maybe daydreaming or not actively meditating, there's reduced activity in the frontal lobes. But as they start meditating, as they become a little bit more focused, there's increased activity in the frontal cortex, in the prefrontal lobe. And so I just want to give you, sort of a quick summary. This was a short talk. We wanted to kind of keep it short, because we want to include the meditation practice also. So just as a summary, it lifts our mood, increases our bodily awareness. A lot of times we have trouble sort of figuring out what is our body saying to us. So by practicing regularly, we become more in touch and more aware of our body. We can increase our attention span, empathy, feelings of well-being. And we have studies to show that there's decreased stress-related cortisol, and they've done wonderful work in the field of anxiety and depression, which shows, wonderful results. So people often ask me, okay, I'm interested, but I don't know where to start. So these days, it's easier than ever to learn about meditation. There are so many apps. Some of the apps that we're familiar with are Calm, Headspace, Balance, 10% Happier. They all have like a free trial period. So try one, see which one you like. And if you're looking for a neuroscience program, Healthy Minds teaches you about neuroscience, and it has meditations. And our own Jacinta, also known as Kalyan Darshan, she does guided meditation every day. So you can follow her and join her. And I myself do mindfulness meditation on the first Saturday and third Saturday of the month at 9 o'clock. And you can get that link at our website, lifestyledocs.com. So these are some of the references that I used for this talk. If anyone's interested, And now, as they say, proof is in the pudding. We want to, practice. It's good to talk about it. It's good to be inspired by the neuroscience, but you have to practice, practice, practice. So I'm going to stop my share, and I'm going to, Jacinta has been doing just a wonderful job on introducing everyone else. I'm going to take just a minute here to introduce Jacinta to everyone. So Jacinta Brondgeest, also known as Kalyan Darshan, her spiritual name, is a dear friend and the primary yoga teacher and mindfulness guide for our nonprofit Peaceful Planet Foundation's mindfulness program, where we serve underserved schools. She's a certified Kundalini instructor, meditation guide, ordained minister, and a Reiki practitioner. Through her words and actions, Jacinta supports and celebrates the conscious awakening of humanity. So if you all are ready, let's join Jacinta on this short guided mindfulness meditation practice. And thank you.
Thank you very much, Munish. Beautiful words. Wonderful. So let's practice mindfulness together. A practice can be just a few minutes. Ideally, it's a great practice to do when you first wake up, setting the tone for the day, greeting the day in a relaxed state. And at the end of the day, to let go of any tension, anxiety, stress that may have built up so that we can have a beautiful, restful sleep. So we're going to practice mindfulness. So very simply, I invite you to find an easy position, whether you're sitting in a chair, whether you're sitting on the ground, on your yoga mat. Just if you're comfortable, allow your eyes to gently close. And mindfulness is very much about exploring our inner environment. So as we close our eyes, we're turning our awareness within. And really, to break it all down, practicing mindfulness is simply returning our thoughts to present time attention each time we notice the mind wanders off. So that's the only instruction. There is no wrongs. When you notice the mind wander, gently bring it back. So now that we're in a comfortable position, all of our awareness in present time attention, we're going to just sneak up and watch what our breath is doing without any controlling of it, just simply observing the breath coming in and out of the body. Noticing how much movement there is in the chest, in the belly. Noticing the sensation of the breath coming in through the nose and feeling it as it leaves the nose. And now we're going to bring our breath for a few breaths into manual control. So we'll breathe in through the nose and we'll exhale out through the mouth. We'll just take gentle breaths, nice and slow. And as you take each in-breath in through the nose, imagine that you're bringing more and more of your awareness into the moment of now. And with each exhale, with the first few out of the mouth, imagine releasing any of those thoughts that tend to be hijacking us, pulling us out of present time. Inhaling more conscious awareness. And exhaling, releasing thoughts from the past and the future. Inhaling again, coming even more into the eternal moment of now, that powerful mindful state. Exhaling through the mouth, and then coming back to a natural rhythm in and out of the nose. And coming back to that awareness of the breath, coming in through the nose, feeling it in the mouth, and then noticing as we take it even deeper into the body that our belly may expand, and then our chest elevates as we take in more breath. And then as we exhale out of the nose, feel the breath leaving the tops of the chest, the top of the lungs, and then the middle of the lungs. And then towards the end of the exhale, gently bring your belly in towards the spine to help squeeze out all of the air. And we'll just do 3 breaths like this, fuller, completer breaths. Feeling the whole experience as it moves in through the nose, feeling the belly and the lungs expand. And then feeling the breath leaving the body, leaving from the top part of the lungs to the bottom part of the lungs. Feeling the belly pull in towards the spine, feeling the breath leaving the body out of the nose. Really engaging the mind, focusing on each part of the inhale and the exhale. And seeing if we're even able to complete a full inhale and exhale without our mind wandering into the past or the future, gently bringing it back into the moment of now, feeling and experiencing this beautiful breath flowing in and out of the body. Holding the mind steady. Beautiful. And now I invite you to bring your awareness to the chair that you're sitting on, the ground that you're sitting on. Notice where your body is connecting with the chair, with the ground. Feeling into that part of your buttocks, to the legs, your back if it's leaning up against the back of a chair. And now we're going to bring our awareness to our feet, whether they be flat on the ground, sitting on the chair, or whether they might be crossed in front of you. And as you feel into the feet, imagine that you're breathing in through the feet. And with that breath, bringing mindfulness to the feet and a beautiful sense of relaxation to them. I'm going to bring the breath now up through the legs, from the feet, through the ankles. Imagine like beautiful flowing feeling of warmth as this wonderful life force breath energy comes into your body, breathing into the lower legs, noticing if there's any tension, any discomfort, holding the space for anything that you notice, being totally okay with whatever you feel and experience. And take the breath a little higher now up to the knees. Notice how our knees are feeling. Bring all of our awareness there. letting the breath flow in and out at a gentle and natural rate. With the next breath in, imagine we're bringing it up into the thighs. Noticing the muscles in our thighs, any sensations. Completely relaxing the thighs, maintaining our present time attention. Bringing the next breath with our awareness up into the hips, into the pelvis. Noticing any sensations in this part of our body. So we bring our mindful attention to it, just relaxing that part of our body. Bringing all of our awareness to any sensations in that area. With the next breath, we'll take it up a little higher now, up into the belly and the lower back. With our awareness, our mindful attention on the belly, on our lower back, noticing what sensations we're feeling. The lower back for many can be tender and painful. So we can spend a little more time here just noticing all the sensations. There's no judgment. Nothing is good nor bad. We're just simply watching, feeling, observing. Being totally okay with whatever we notice. And with the next breath, we'll take it a little higher. Let's breathe in. Bring our awareness now up to the solar plexus, up to the areas of our middle back, in that kidney region. Noticing what we feel in this part of our body. Holding our mind steady, all awareness, in the middle of our back, around our solar plexus area. Sometimes we can find this is an area where we may feel those butterflies. Sometimes they can feel like anxiety, but whatever you're noticing, perfectly okay. Just content to observe, maintaining the mindful attention. And when we do notice that the mind wanders off, observing what are the thoughts, what are the feelings, what are the sensations that pull us out of present time attention. And simply acknowledging them and then releasing them and coming back into that present moment. And let's breathe now a beautiful mindful breath up to the heart space, up to the area in our chest. We can become so quiet sometimes when we practice mindfulness and almost feel your heartbeat. Notice the breath expanding the lungs. Noticing the quality of how your heart's feeling at this time. Every practice is different. Just being a curious witness to notice how we're feeling in this moment. And then in this moment. And then in this moment. Now we'll take our breath up higher, up through our chest. Let's bring it now up to our throat, up to our neck. Noticing how our throat feels, how our neck feels. If there's any stiffness here, feel free to move it. Just watching this part of our body, noticing what we're feeling here and what thoughts are coming up into our conscious mind. And watching what feelings come up with any of those thoughts. Simply observing and releasing them, coming back to our mindful focus, mind steady. And now let's bring our awareness to our hands, our fingers, and our thumbs. Feeling the front of our hands and feeling the backs of our hands, the pads of our fingers and thumbs. Are our hands feeling warm? Are they feeling cool? Noticing the sensations, watching with that total equanimous, having a mindset of equanimity, no judgment. And then we'll take our mindfulness from our hands, we'll draw it up our forearms through the wrists, along the forearms, noticing any sensations, bringing our awareness to our elbows, and bringing our awareness along the tops of our arms, biceps and triceps, up to the shoulders, observing every sensation we can, maintaining our curious mindset, feeling and bringing our awareness to the shoulder blades, lovely. Now let's bring our awareness up through our neck. Let's bring it up into the jaw now. And checking in if the jaw is relaxed, allowing the jaw to become relaxed, the tongue. Notice the sensations here. Notice the taste in your mouth. Bringing the awareness to the nose. Notice if there are any aromas, anything that you can smell in this moment. Bringing your awareness to your cheeks, bringing your awareness and your mindful attention to your ears. And now from your ears, expanding out into your environment, bringing your awareness, seeing how far it can reach in what you can hear, expanding your awareness in all directions around you through the sense of hearing. Concentrating on the sense of hearing. And then we're going to bring our awareness back into our body. Bring it to the back of our head. Now feeling mindfully the back of our head. Mindfully bringing our awareness to the very top of our head. And then bringing our awareness to our forehead. mindfully focusing at that area and connecting with your conscious mind, with that executive sitting there in the frontal lobe. And now as you bring your mindful awareness to your eyes, allow your eyes to soften. Notice if you're holding any tension in your eyes. And now breathe in and feel your whole body. Is there any part of your body that's calling for a little more of your mindful awareness? Any part of the body or part of the mind that would like you to hold mindful space for? Bringing our awareness to our discomforts rather than escaping from them. So we bring our mindful awareness to any part of our discomforts. We bring light and energy to it. Feeling now with our mindful awareness, our external selves, our perimeter, the surface of our body from front to back, head to toe. And getting a sense of really being globally aware of ourselves in this moment. Noticing how we feel, what we're thinking in this moment. All of our awareness right in the eternal moment of now. I invite you to now take a deep breath in. Exhale. Gently open your eyes. You might want to move your body in any way that feels good at this time. I thank you very much for practicing. I invite you to bring a practice similar to that to your daily routine and just watch how it can transform your life. Thank you very much. And I believe we're taking a short break before we move into, I'll get it right this time, our live cooking demonstration. I believe that's taking place at 1 p.m. So would I be correct in saying that we have around about a 7-minute break, Munish, Bandana?
Yes, we have about a 7-minute break, and I will stick around. Jacinta's going to stick around. If anyone has any questions on the neuroscience or on the practice of meditation, we're happy to kind of stick around for that. And at 1 o'clock, Cherise Williams, we're so lucky to have her. She's going to do the cooking demo. So we'll see you back if you need to take a break. But if you have a question, we are here.
In the chat, people are talking about how good the meditation was. One person wrote, "I can barely type." You have us very relaxed, Jacinta.
Good. Excellent. It's definitely something, just to move through the body and continuing bringing back our awareness. It's interesting because then as we notice the thoughts and the feelings that hijack us, with a little practice, it really gives us an insight into what's going on in our subconscious mind. And the more, the practice is bringing back ourselves to present time attention. And so never be frustrated with yourselves like, oh my gosh, I keep losing it. But that's the practice. The more practice we continue to bring ourselves back into the moment of now, the more conscious we become, the more awake we become, the more of those subconscious patterns that can be not very beneficial, that can lead us to states of fear, anxiety, stress, the more we practice bringing whatever is hijacking us into the moment of now, the more we undo that patterning, and the more we literally find more happiness in our lives. I did find some wonderful studies that mindful practices absolutely correlate with being happier. So it doesn't take much time each day just to keep pulling the mind back into present time attention. On to two 20-minute wellness sessions. First of all, we have Katie Van Hooser. She began her yoga journey in 2010. From being a participant on the mat to leading yoga classes, Katie has taught all ages and ability levels, from kids to seniors. She is a 500-hour certified yoga teacher. Katie's on the advisory council for the Peaceful Planet Foundation and records videos on yoga and mindfulness for the 2-minute mindfulness programs. She's also currently teaching yoga with lifestyle docs on Saturday mornings. Katie is passionate about making yoga accessible to anyone, regardless of age or limitation in mobility. Her goal is to empower others. Let's join Katie for this fun and innovative routine. Perhaps before we begin, I'll also go ahead and introduce Meagan Terry. Meagan Terry is a certified yoga instructor in the tradition of Sivananda Yoga. She's an advocate for improving livelihoods of marginalized communities through wellness practices, horticulture, and gardening education. She's also a practitioner of mindfulness and breath work, also known as Pranayama, and loves to share techniques that can help others. In this practical session, Meagan will guide you on how to use the breath as tools to nourish the body, calm the mind, and enliven the spirit. So we'll begin with Katie Van Hooser for 20 minutes of yoga, and then Meagan Terry for pranayama. Fantastic. Let's begin.
Hi, everyone. I'm so excited to be here with you guys today. Just to make sure, can everyone hear me okay?
Yes.
Perfect. Yay. Okay, so today, this session is called Yoga is for Everyone. I'm going to take you through a yoga flow using a chair today. So if you're going to participate with us today, go ahead and grab a chair. So I am a true believer in that yoga is for everyone, and that anybody can have a yoga practice. So whether you're newer to yoga or perhaps in recovery of some sort of physical recovery, or you just want to do something different, this practice is going to be for you guys. So props today. Please have a chair if you're going to join us, and a chair without wheels, and preferably without armrests as well. But if you have armrests, it's no big deal. Just be careful when we're doing different postures and using your chair. I have some pillows nearby, so if you have some, they're not necessary, but they're good to have. And I have a blanket in front of my chair as well. You can use your yoga mat or a towel, or if you have carpet or just don't mind having the floor beneath you, that will work too. So yeah, before we dive in, I want to say that this class is about you. It's about you feeling good in your body. So take any modifications you need. I'll supply some modifications, but you can also like repeat something if you're like, ooh, I really like this, or you can skip whatever you need to skip. So yeah, so find a chair, sit in your chair, and I say scoot forward. So scoot forward so that your feet can be flat, and place your hands on your legs and sit up. I know I've been slouching a little bit today, so it's really good to just open up your chest. So we're going to go through that a little bit. Lengthen your spine, roll your shoulders up and down, and create a flat back. So from here, close your eyes, and let's begin with some cleansing breaths to get the lungs moving. So inhale through your nose, And then open your mouth, exhale all the air out. Take another breath in through your nose. Open your mouth, sigh a breath out. And let's do one more of those. Breathe in through your nose. Open your mouth, sigh it out. And keep your eyes closed. And close your mouth and come into nostril breathing. Feel the breath enter into your nose and the breath enter out or exit out. I always love to say, as long as you're breathing or breathing with intention, if you are doing yoga, I always love to highlight on that in all of my classes. So open your eyes, and from here, reach your hands up to the ceiling. Reach both hands up, stretch long. And from here, exhale your hands down. So we're just gonna flow through. Reach your hands up. Exhale, lower your hands down. Reach your hands up to the ceiling. Interlace your fingers or press your palms together. Take a big inhale. And then reach your hands over to the left side for a side body stretch. Notice your breath still. Take a breath in through your nose. Exhale out through your nose. Come back up to center. Reach your fingertips up. Lengthen. Inhale. Exhale. Reach over to the opposite side. And stay here for about 2 breaths. Then reach both hands up to the center. Take a breath in, unlace your fingers, and exhale. Draw your arms into cactus arms. I'm just inspired today to open up our chest, create some opening there. Breathe in, reach your hands up. Exhale, lower your elbows down. Little puff in your chest. Reach back up, inhale. Then exhale, cactus arms one more time. You can even look up to the ceiling, open up the throat. Reach your hands up to the ceiling and then lower your hands all the way down towards the ground. So we're coming into a forward fold position in our chair. So this is where I love to have the pillows. If you don't want to touch the floor all the way, or if it just isn't accessible, you can place your hands on a pillow. You can even just place them on your shins. But in this forward fold, allow your neck and head to release down. Take an inhale through your nose. Take an exhale out through your nose. I'm gonna move my pillows now. And from here, place both hands on your shins. So we're going through some warm-up poses. Coming into halfway lift. So hold this position for a couple of breaths. Hands are in your shins, pressing into your shins. Draw your shoulders away from your ears, and then look down towards the ground to keep your neck neutral. Take an inhale. Take an exhale. And now for a little bit of muscle activation. So hug your belly button in towards your spine to engage your abdominal muscles. And hold that, but still breathe. And give a gentle push down into the floor. And that's going to activate your leg muscles. Take an inhale. Take an exhale. Just because we're in a chair doesn't mean that we can't activate in our yoga flow using a chair. Now lower your chest all the way down. I'm all about stretching as well as muscle activation in my yoga practice. And now from here, reach both hands up to the ceiling. Big breath in. Fold your chest down towards the ground. We're going to flow through these 3 poses. And now inhale, come into your flat back. Draw your shoulders away from your ears. Now exhale, lower your chest back down for a forward fold. Let's do that again. Reach all the way up. Inhale. Exhale. Lower your hands down towards the ground. Inhale. Come into a flat back, hands to shins. Exhale. Lower your chest down towards the ground. Now reach your hands all the way up to the ceiling. Place your palms together in front of your chest, so heart center. And we're going to do that flow one more time. You can repeat it sitting down, but I want to give you guys the option to do it standing up as well. So come into a standing position if you would like, feet hips width apart. Reach your hands up to the ceiling, breathe in. Bend your knees, bow your chest down for forward fold. Now inhale, place your hands on your shins, come into a flat back. Exhale, fold your chest down, forward fold. And now inhale, reach your hands all the way up to the ceiling. Hands to your heart center. And so I'm going to take you into a downward facing dog. And I want to show two options. So this is going to be y'all's choice to either use a wall for down dog. I forgot to mention that at the beginning of class. I'm near a wall if you want to use it, or we could use the chair for down dog. So I'm going to show you the chair option first. So stand in front of your chair, feet hips width apart. Spread your fingers wide and place them on the seat of your chair. Walk your feet back, and this is going to depend on how tall you are. I'm not very tall, so I don't have to step back very much. And then slowly dip your chest down, or just lower your chest down towards the ground, towards your knees, and straighten your arms. So this is the first version, and you can stay here if you're really enjoying this. But if you're someone who needs to stay seated in your chair, you can have your chair next to a wall. And it's the same idea. So spread your fingers wide. Place your hands on the wall in front of you, and then walk your hands up the wall to straighten your arms. And then very gently lower your chest forward, towards the wall, towards your legs. So whichever pose you decided, focus on your breath. Take an inhale. Take an exhale. And then notice, I feel such a wonderful stretch in my arms and my armpit area. But notice that we also want to support the muscles and we want to support the joints. So give a gentle push into your hands, whether it's on your chair or on your wall, to activate your arm muscles. And also hug your thumbs in towards each other. So you're not going to actually move your hands. It's just like an energetic, a very gentle, energetic engagement. Take a deep breath in through your nose. Deep breath out through your nose. Very slowly, whether you're standing or sitting on down dog or in your down dog, come out of the pose and come back to your chair. Roll your shoulders up towards your ears. Roll them back down. Do that a couple of times. I love to show different options and variations for poses like down dog, because again, just because we're in a chair or using a chair doesn't mean we can't incorporate these traditional poses of the yoga practice in our own practice. All right, roll your shoulders up towards your ears one last time and roll them down. Walk your hands forward onto your knee or towards your knees. And we're going to do a cat-cow flow. So inhale, puff your chest out very gently. Exhale, round your back. Oh, this feels so good. After that down dog. Lift your chest for cow. Inhale. Exhale, round your back. One more of those. Inhale for cow. Exhale for cat. And then come back into a neutral spine and notice your posture. So come into a sitting up position, lengthen your spine. We're going to move into a pose called Dancing Shiva. I love this pose and I love these options. So move your feet so they're hips width apart. stabilize, root your left foot down. Lift your right foot off of the ground. And it doesn't have to be very high. It can be all the way up, or just maybe even the toes on the ground. But from here, place your left hand to the outside of your right leg. You can stay right here, but if you want to add on the twist, lengthen your spine. Inhale. Exhale, twist your chest over to the right and place your right hand behind you on the seat of the chair. Take a big breath in through your nose. Big breath out through your nose. And if at any point you need to like come out of the pose for a second and then come back into it, that's absolutely perfect. And now you can stay here or add on straightening your right leg. So this is like an added bonus if you wish. Take one more breath in. Exhale, release everything all the way down. And now for the other side, root your right foot down into the floor. Lift your left foot up. And this side might be different, so just pay attention. Maybe you need to put your toes on the floor, or maybe you can lift your foot up all the way. Place your right hand to the outside of your left leg. Straighten your spine first, so lengthen, and then twist your chest over to the left side. And place your left hand behind you. And now notice your shoulders, drop them away from your ears. They might be shrugging up. Notice your jaw. I know I'm someone who holds tension in my jaw, so relax your mouth, take a breath in. Take a breath out. You can stay here, or if you would like to add on, straighten your left leg as much as you can. It could just be a little unbent, or if you want to fully extend, you can. One more inhale. Exhale, release all the way down. Roll your shoulders up to your ears and back down. We're going to come into Dancing Shiva again, but I want to show you a different variation. You can stand up using the chair. So come over to one side of the chair. If you want to do the standing up option, you can do it in the repeated sitting down if you would like. So root your right foot down into the ground and lift your left foot up. And use the chair to help you balance as well. I mean, you can always play around with like letting go of the chair. And then if this is also a bit much, you can just turn your body and set your foot on the chair. I absolutely love this option. A friend of mine gave me this idea. So wherever you are, place your right hand to the outside of your left leg. Lengthen your spine first. Take a breath in. Then exhale, twist your chest over to the left for Dancing Shiva. Take another inhale through your nose. Exhale out through your nose. And then if you would like to add on, start to straighten your your left leg. Wherever we are, take one more breath in through your nose. Exhale, release out through your nose and lower everything down. And then come to the other side of your chair. Rest your right hand on your chair if you would like. Root your left foot down into the ground. Lift your right foot up. And then notice if you want to stay right here, or if you want to turn your body and set your foot on the chair. So from here, place your left hand to the outside of your right leg. Straighten your spine. Take a breath in. Then exhale, twist your chest over to the right. And then notice your left leg in this position. So push down into your left big toe and squeeze your leg muscles to help support you up and out of your left hip. And you can stay here or straighten your right leg. Everyone take a big breath through your nose, wherever you are. Exhale out through your nose and lower everything down. And then come and have a seat back into your chair. Place both of your hands into a fist and place them behind you on the seat of your chair. We're going to come into a heart opener, camel pose. And first and foremost, straighten your spine. Always work on lengthening the spine. Squeeze your core muscles, your abdominal muscles. And as you inhale, lift your chest up to the ceiling. Start to look up. You can close your eyes here if you would like. Squeeze your shoulder blades to the center of your spine. Squeeze them together. Take a big breath through your nose. Take a breath out through your nose. One more inhale. Very slowly, take as much time as you need to slowly lift your head back up to center, back to neutral. Place your hands on your legs, open your eyes. And from here, place your hands behind you as well. We're gonna come into a little fun pose here. So lift your feet so that your toes are on your mat. And right here, you might already notice, wow, there's some engagement here. I feel really good here, but if you want to add on support with your hands, lift one foot up, maybe lift the other foot up for boat pose. So this is a core buster pose. So wherever you are in this boat pose, take a big breath in through your nose, big breath out, and then lower all the way down. So anyone who knows me knows I love core work in all of my classes. So from here, lift your right foot, cross it over your left leg for a figure four stretch. We're going to come into a hip opener, hip stretch. If this isn't as accessible, or if you notice there's pain in your knee, just cross your right leg all the way over your left. And flex your right foot, lengthen your spine, take a breath in. And then exhale, if you want to deepen the stretch, send your chest forward. But if you come forward and notice that's way too much, then just come back up. Close your eyes, take a deep breath in, out. One more inhale. Open your eyes, release everything down. And let's switch it out to the other side. So lift your left foot up, cross it over your right leg, flex your left foot, and then notice, because this side might be completely different, and that's common, that's normal. If there's pain or it's not as accessible, cross your left leg all the way over. Close your eyes, lengthen your spine, take a breath in, and then send your chest forward if you would like to deepen the stretch. Take a deep breath in through your nose. Deep breath out through your nose. One more inhale. Exhale, lift your chest up, uncross your leg. Place both feet on the ground, roll your shoulders back and down away from your ears. And for the final moments of this class, I want to take you through breath work, just like we did at the beginning of class. You can stay seated, or I love this option. If you would like, lay on the floor or your blanket. Again, you don't have to have a blanket, but then prop your legs up onto the seat of your chair. And if you find you don't like this, you can come back to sitting into your chair. So whatever pose you decided, wherever you are, close your eyes, place your hands on your belly, and we're going to go through a 4-6 breath. So you will inhale for a count of 4 and exhale out for a count of 6. I'll take you through a couple of breaths, but then I'll have you breathe on your own. So close your eyes and let's begin. Take a breath in for 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale out for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Breathe in for 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale out for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And do 2 of those breath cycles on your own. from here, come back to a normal breath. Wiggle your fingers to wake up the body. If you're laying down, go ahead and hug your legs in and slowly lift up into a seated position. It could be on the floor or back in your chair. And from here, everyone, reach your hands up to the ceiling. Place your palms together. Open your eyes if they're closed. And we'll end class with the word Namaste, which means the light in me honors the light in you. So let's bow and say Namaste. Thank you guys so much for joining me today in this yoga flow. I'm so happy I could be here.
Absolutely wonderful. That was such a great class. And it's so true. It doesn't matter, you know, where you are in life or what physical mobility issues you may have. Yoga is approachable for everybody. It was a really tremendous routine. So moving now to pranayama, we're bringing in Meagan Terry. Meagan Terry is going to lead us on a breath work practice.
Thank you so much. I started sharing my screen too soon. Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you, Katie. That was beautiful. I didn't have my chair with me, so I kind of just modified and I did legs up the wall. So thank you for that reminder. Yeah. So can everyone hear me okay? Or at least maybe Jacinta will tell me.
Yes, we hear you great.
Oh, great, great.
We hear you.
Thank you, Dr. B. I've been in and out all day with all of you and just super, super grateful. My name is Meagan. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the benefits of pranayama and what pranayama is, and then do some practicing. And I loved that we got to do some breathing exercises. Really, in the yoga classes that I would teach, I did take a little pause. I had a baby who is almost 9 months tomorrow, which is amazing. And so I have not been in my own body a lot. I've been taking care of this other body. And so breath work for me has been a simple way to be reminded of how to come back to myself, be aware, be mindful. And I think the practices that we've been learning about today kind of all have been very complementary. And so breath work as part of your mindfulness practice, as part of your yoga practice, is incredible and has huge benefits. So I will just share my screen, just it also helps me stay on topic and make sure I don't go too far, because I could probably talk about this for much longer. I love this quote: to breathe means to live, and to live means to breathe. And if you don't see my screen, let me know. So our prana really is the life force. So our breath, it's the life force that enabled me and all the thousands and millions of mothers before me to push out a baby and to give life. And it is something that is, you know, one of the only biological processes that we can control. And it is powerful when we're able to do that for our mental state, for our physical state, and regulating blood pressure, stress, anxiety. It is incredibly powerful. So pranayama really is, it's one of the 8 parts of yogic culture. And so if you practice yoga, to me, if you are mindful and aware of your breathing, even if you are laying in shavasana on the ground, you're doing yoga, in my opinion. And pranayama really is this ancient practice of breathing exercises. So it aids in your mindfulness, your meditation practice, and allows you to achieve more physical ease in the body and calmness in your mental state. And so I just kind of put these pictures. I was trying to think of, you know, the hustle and bustle of our daily lives, of society, of being stuck in traffic. It can be overwhelming, and especially in this world where we have been narrowed in to being indoors, and it can feel overwhelming is the best word I have right now. Pranayama is a way to find that ease in your body and yourself. And you can do a lot of these breathing exercises when you are in your car or when you are in a stressful situation. You don't need props, you just need your breath and the attention to your breath. So there's different types of pranayama exercises, and really, I've read that yogis do not count life by the number of years, but by the number of breaths they take. And so a lot of these exercises require you to count your breath, maybe in your mind, or when your teacher is leading you out, teaching counting out loud. And so I'm going to lead you through a few of these exercises. I will start by leading, and then ideally let you move on and carry with the mental counting on your own. And I just wanted to give some examples. We're not going to be able to go through all of these today, but one breath, and I think we've practiced some of them already actually with Jacinta and with Katie, the full yogic breath. So that's breathing in 3 parts, and I want to start there. So breathing into the chest, to the diaphragm or the solar plexus, to the belly, to the abdomen, and then moving those parts in 3. Square breathing, where you inhale for a certain number of counts, maybe it's 4, you hold for 4, you exhale for 4, and then hold again for 4. That's one of the best exercises in my mind when I am stressed, when I can't fall asleep, when I'm driving, is an exercise I always come back to because it creates a rhythm. And pranayama really means rhythmic control of your breath, or of that prana, of that energy, that life force that's within us. You might have heard of Ujjayi breath. That's ocean breath. So that's using the breathing through the nostrils. And sorry if my messages are coming through. Breathing through the nose and out through the nose, but making that motion as if you're going to fog up a glass, so you hear your breath. So the Ujjayi. And it can be very calming for you to hear that, to think of the ocean. I love being by the ocean and near water. And so just that motion that you can imagine, and using the sound to bring your concentration in is quite useful. There's Kapalabhati, which is skull shining breath. That's what it means in Sanskrit. And so that is a rhythmic control of your exhalation. So it's that you usually place your hand on your abdomen and your forceful exhale. So you're and that actually is a very incredible exercise to do in the morning before meditation, or when you're waking up. It can actually give you a lot of energy, and is a really great exercise as well. And then finally, alternate nostril breathing. I learned it as Anuloma Viloma, or Nadi Shodhana. And so that is a practice that we are going to practice together today. The nadis, if you're not familiar, are just kind of the way the nerve endings and that kind of system throughout our body. There are numerous nadis, and the 3 main ones that we focus on in pranayama are the Ida and Pingala and Shushumna. And so the Ida is the left side. So this is more that cool energy, the moon energy, the feminine, that's on the left side. So breathing through the left nostril. And then the right is more of the sun, the hot, the masculine, the kind of power and activity movement. And so the alternate nostril breathing is balancing these 2 sides. As you know, constantly we are going through our day, breathing through our nostrils. Sometimes one side is more blocked than the other. And so perhaps if one side is more blocked throughout the day, you might feel more sluggish, or you may feel more tired. Or if one is not, you may feel more energetic and kind of, able to do lots of activities. And so the alternate nostril breathing allows you to balance both of those sides, and ideally activate the Sushumna Nadi, which is at the base of the spine and the lower back. And so we want to try to find ways to balance those energies within the body to create those physical balances and emotional balances that come with that as a benefit. So I want to practice. I also want to make sure I can see all of you. Any questions so far? Okay. So we're going to take our hand, place it on our abdomen, and the other on the chest, and let's just tune into our breath. So if you're not already in a comfortable seat from yoga, on your chair, on the floor, supported under your hips, I invite you to find that comfortable seat. If it feels good, close the eyes. And slowly remove the tongue from the roof of the mouth and start to breathe in through the nose, filling up the belly, expanding the chest all the way up to the collarbones. And exhale through the nose, allowing the chest to soften, the belly to soften, and pull the navel towards the spine. And move through this full yogic breath a few times on your own. You can invite that ujjayi breath or making that ocean sound as you breathe out. Beautiful. Move through one more complete round of this full yogic breath. If it feels comfortable, you can place your hands back on your side or continue to have that contact with your hands. On your next exhale, release your arms, release your hands, open your eyes. And we're going to use our right hand, taking your palm and closing your fingers in. Take out the thumb and the pinky and the ring finger. And so the pinky and the ring finger are going to come together, and the thumb. So this is what you will use to block one side of the nostril and then the other. The thumb is going to come to the outside of the right nostril, and then the pinky and ring finger together will block the left nostril. I like to keep my other hand, my left hand, in Chin Mudra, placed on my knee, but you're welcome to have whatever comfortable seat that you need to feel at ease in your body. If sitting in a chair works better, that is totally fine. So we're going to bring our hand again into our mudra. So the fingers in, except for the ring finger and pinky and the thumb. We're going to block the right nostril to begin and breathe in through the left nostril. And we're going to start with single nostril breathing. So we're going to block the right, breathe in through the left, and out through the left. And as we practice with Katie, the 4-6 breath, we want to try to elongate our exhale. So we can start with a count of 4 and an exhale for 8 if that's comfortable, or use what works for you. Breathe in, 1, 2, 3, 4, and exhale through the left, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Good. Switch. Block the left nostril, breathe in through the right. And exhale through the right. And find a count that works for you. If using 3 and then 6 works, that's great. We'll start through the right again. Breathe in. And out through the right. Good. One more time on the right side. And out. Beautiful. Release your arm. If your arm ever does get tired, you can use the opposite hand, remove it from your mudra, and hold the elbow and kind of allow your spine to still stay straight, your back tall, and your crown of your head balanced, but you can support that other arm with your hand. So let's release our arms and just take a breath in through the nose, both nostrils, and exhale through both nostrils. Go. So we'll bring our hand back to our nose. We're going to try to alternate this time. So block the right nostril. We always start breathing in through the left. We'll block and then exhale through the right. So we're going to be alternating. And this, we will move through at your own pace with the breath that works for you. So block the right, inhale through the left. Close both nostrils. And exhale right. Inhale through the right nostril. Block both. Exhale left. Beautiful. Inhale through the left. Hold at the top. Exhale right. Good. Ideally, you are doing twice the exhale as the inhale. So if you inhale for 4, exhaling for 8, inhale through the right. Hold at the top and exhale left. Good. Inhale left. Mentally counting to 4, whatever count serves you, holding at the top. And exhaling for 8 or whatever hold it works for you, or excuse me, count works for you. Good. One more round each side. Inhale right. And hold at the top. Exhale left. Good. Last time this side. Inhale to the left. 2, 3, 4. And hold. And exhale right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Good. Release the arm down and just take a few breaths. See how you're feeling. And check in with your body. Maybe notice if one side does feel more blocked than the other. And if you do have allergies or are congested and this just isn't working for you today, that is okay. I invite you to take your full yogic breath or try that square breathing, finding a count that works for you if you're holding or breathing in for 4, holding for 4, exhaling for 4, and holding for 4. But if this alternate nostril breathing is working for you, we're going to continue, and this time adding on a hold or a pause of 4 seconds between every inhalation and every exhalation. So let's begin again, and I will do another round of counting this time, and then I'll let you continue to breathe. So finding your mudra, the thumb again is blocking the right nostril. The ring and the pinky finger are blocking the left. So we're going to start blocking the left, or excuse me, start blocking the right and breathe in through the left. We'll breathe in 1, 2, 3, 4, holding at the top for 1, 2, 3, 4, and exhaling right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Good. Inhale right. 1, 2, 3, 4. Holding at the top for 4. You continue. 1, 2, 3, 4, and exhale left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Inhale left. 1, 2, 3, 4. Holding at the top for 4. And exhale right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This time on your own. Inhale on the right for 4. Holding at the top for 4, or whichever count serves you today. And exhaling left for 8. Good. Inhale left. Holding, pausing, bringing the attention to the point between the eyebrows, the third eye. Exhale right. Moving on your own as you inhale and pause. We'll take one more final round wherever you are. Inhale. Pausing at the top. And exhaling wherever you are out the right nostril, or remaining until you finish to exhale on the right nostril. Releasing the arm down, closing the eyes. And breathe normally through both nostrils, just observing. Notice any sensations in the body. Any thoughts that might have popped up, any doubts, any physical sensations. Maybe all of a sudden your left foot is asleep. Maybe you feel slightly dizzy. Or maybe you just are focused on the breath. Go. If it's available to you, I always invite you to lay down in Shavasana after a breathing exercise. So I know that we are close to the time, but if you are called to do so, I invite you to lay down in Shavasana. Just really continue to reap the benefits of this practice of your pranayama today and the benefits of your yoga practice with Katie. Or if you're seated comfortably in a chair, you can remain there. Okay. And as you call your body back, start to make some gentle movements, maybe stretch out your feet, turn the ankles, turn the wrists. Waking up the body, shifting positions, and coming back to whatever seat feels comfortable to you. And let out a nice deep breath. Good. So I invite you to continue to explore and learn about the world of pranayama, to not skip them in your yoga practice. Typically, they are done at the beginning of yoga, so that you can really find a way to center your body, but you can also do this at the end of a physical practice to allow your mind to rest and to calm and prepare for meditation and your mindfulness practice. So I hope that these are some useful tools for you. Please let me know if you have any questions. Would be happy to answer them now or share later. And thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much, Meagan, for that wonderful practice. I was a little wired because of the retreat, and I did the breathing exercises along with you, and I feel a lot better. Thank you.
That's great. I'm glad to hear that. I realized I did just have my slide to share of my contact information. You can find me in the garden. I work with Urban Harvest and a lot of our schools in the area. Or my email. I am not very active on Instagram, but I hope to become again. So I would love to connect with any of you as I get back into my teaching practice. And thank you again.